Good morning. Good morning. Today I just want to talk about journaling practice, how to get started if you're new to it, maybe how to improve it if you've already been doing it. First, what are the basics of journaling? I think most obviously having a notebook, a pen, and the desire to write. I think starting out, if it's your first time journaling or if you've done it before but it didn't stick, I think starting out with a journal that is very small, thin, like one of these, but maybe even small, like half the size, like an A6. I think starting out with something very small and very thin is going to be very beneficial. And finding a tool to write with that is very pleasant for you to use, like a pen or a pencil or a marker, whatever you prefer, that feels good to use. And maybe you don't like pen and paper and you just want to type it up. That's okay too. Find a cool app or just use Word Doc or Google Doc and type it up. That's okay. But think about how you digitally want to archive it for it to be protected and safe. That's my only warning. So when it comes to like the actual writing aspect of starting to journal, you really want to focus on easy and easy to accomplish entries. You don't want to force yourself into these very big, long entries that are going to exhaust you and bore you and make you feel like not writing. For me, when I first start writing after a break, or even just like when I first started to be more consistent, my entries were almost never more than a page long, if that, maybe not even a quarter of the page long. I would usually write down a few sentences about what I feel, what I did last night, what I'm going to do today, and my expectations maybe, and that's kind of it. So I think it's really important for you to know what you want to journal about. There's a lot of things to journal about. For me, journaling is like my daily journaling practice is really just about my thoughts and feelings and like things I'm doing or not doing, and stuff I want to address with myself that is hard to address in life with other people. So, but what you want to journal about can look like many things. It can look like just daily happenings, like what's going on in your life, and that's as simple as that. It could be gratitude. You could have just a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning or evening. Thoughts and feelings. You could just write out about your thoughts and feelings as you need to and not have like a daily practice. Unless you have a lot of thoughts and feelings like me and you do that shit every day. That's up to you. Dreams. I love to write about my dreams. I think it is so cool to read back on the crazy things that you dream about. I don't know about you guys, but for me, dreaming is like, it's like a movie. It's like a plotted, written, scripted movie. There are things happening that are following a thread and being executed and leading to a conclusion and or solution or disaster. And it's really fun to relive that, to remember it and be able to retell it. Like, I feel like writing down your dreams after you've had them makes you remember them so much more for whoever you want to tell later. Like, you just retain so much more detail if you write down a dream in the morning. So I think that's a really fun way to introduce journaling into your life, into your daily life. I also think media and specific topics, if you are a media consumer or a reader, like if you watch movies, watch shows, read books, read articles, like all these things are really great forms of media to write about. They evoke emotions, they evoke thoughts, they evoke feelings, they are very good at driving a point into our brain and our heart about what they're trying to convey. And I think often we kind of overlook that aspect of media and don't really interrogate those feelings or like the specific thoughts that these movies, or like even ideas and concepts that these movies, films, articles, shows, whatever, are introducing to us. I also think two forms of journaling that I don't really do, but I think are very fun and like definitely for other people to try and give a try, is memory keeping and visual journaling. So they kind of are interchangeable, but memory keeping is just like being really specific about stuff that's happening in your life, like events, what you did in a day, what you're going to do the next day, or like literally just like writing about a memory. And maybe, or most likely, adding a lot of visual elements to it, like photos, stickers, ephemera. And ephemera is just like things you collect, like literal pieces of trash that you collect throughout the day, like receipts, labels, any kind of little like paper or cardboard piece of thing that you had at some point in the day that reminds you of what you experienced. I think visual journaling / memory keeping is really beautiful. Most of the videos I watch on YouTube are about it. I just can't do it. It's not for me. I just really don't like my journal to be visual. As I've said in my previous video, my commonplace journal is more visual, but that's not my daily journal. My daily journal is very much just words, and that's what I like it to be, but that doesn't mean it has to be that for you. I think everybody has a different approach and style of journaling that they are trying to unlock, and I'm just here to guide you through the options that you have and how you might ultimately get to the place that fits you best. Another really hard thing to grasp about journaling is the daily aspect, or just the consistency aspect. I fully believe that journaling every day is 100% beneficial to you and will improve your life so much more than you could ever realize. But you should never ever force yourself to journal. If you feel like shit and you don't want to write, you don't want to talk about your feelings, you don't want to hear about your thoughts, you don't want to talk about what you did yesterday because it sucked or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. If you don't feel like writing, don't do it. Don't force yourself to write. Consistency isn't about doing something every single day at the same time every single day. Like, yes, that is like the pinnacle of consistency, but consistency is broader than that. Doing something once a week is consistent. Doing something once a month is consistent. Like, it's not as tight of a consistency, but you're still building that habit. I think for me, like 5 or so years ago, back in like 2020, 2021, when I first started to really journal a lot, like before that, like in my earliest years of adulthood and high school, I didn't journal every day. I probably journal maybe once a month, once every couple of months, when I had something happen to me or a very big emotion that I was trying to process or figure out. But like, it wasn't until like around 2020 or 2021 when I really started to keep up with my journal, and that just came naturally after having just been journaling for a while. I didn't ever try to force myself to do it every day. I still don't. It just kind of feels good to me to do that now. And I think that's really key. I don't think anyone should be forcing themselves to journal every day if it's not feeling good for you, because it's going to ruin journaling for you. It will suck the life out of your soul and make you feel horrible if you are forcing yourself to do a task and then it just becomes a chore. I really don't want that for you, or for your, like, I'm sure you don't want that for you. Like, journaling is special. Journaling is beautiful. Journaling is, I think, like, the most important key to, like, a lot of self-discovery, to a lot of personal growth. It's how I have always been able to be super self-aware and self-reflective, because I read my journals. I write down the most honest, brutal shit in my life, and I reread it, I relive it, and I think about it, and I really enjoy, like, I don't enjoy reliving it, but I enjoy the practice at its essence. Like, personal growth has always been really important to me, and developing my personality has always been really important to me, and seeing where I am consistently making the same mistakes is really important to me, so that I can change that and work on that. I don't expect change to happen overnight. I don't expect journaling to fix all my problems instantaneously, but it helps. It really helps. And so do not force yourself to write. Let it come to you. Write, like, maybe set the expectation for once a week at a specific day, at a specific time, every week that makes sense for you. Like, say you're a student and you have classes every morning, Monday through Thursday, but you have the afternoons and evenings free. You have the afternoon and evening once a week at least to sit down and journal for like 10 to 15 minutes. And that's enough time. Also, it takes practice. Like, it's not gonna be something you start doing and instantly click with, because it is a very, it's like looking at yourself under a microscope all the time, depending on how you're journaling. How I journal is like that. And maybe that's how you want to journal. But, like, I really think that just taking it day by day, doing it when it feels right to do it, trying to make a habit out of it by doing it at the same time on specific days, maybe not every day, but specific days, will help build the habit. You will get used to expecting to journal on those days at those times, and it will just feel more natural over time. And maybe you will start to reach for your journal outside of those times, but maybe not. It doesn't matter, because it's really about what works for you and not about what everybody else is doing, and not even about what I'm doing. It just, I think that forcing yourself and trying to go all in and expecting this kind of instantaneous reaction from yourself to really love journaling, really be fixated on journaling, like, will burn you out. It can be overwhelming, and you will get exhausted and bored, and you should make the proper boundaries with yourself in your journal to avoid that. Because when you reach that point of exhaustion, that point of overwhelm, that point of boredom with writing about yourself or whatever you choose to write about, you probably won't come back to it, if at all, or at least for a very long time. Especially for neurodivergent people with ADHD or autism, like, these things, like, it's really important to pace yourself and manage your hyperfixation or your interest, because you will drive yourself mad and ruin it for yourself. I've been there. I've done that. It's not fun. Journaling is like the one special interest of mine that I haven't ruined for myself. I'm not gonna list all the other ones that I did, but they're out there. My approach to journaling, how I built my habit of it, and why I personally really enjoy it, because I journal every morning, often throughout the day, because I have time to do it. I, like in my last video, I said I'm a tattoo artist. I don't work every day. If I do work a day, I work like a couple hours a day. Most of my tattoo sessions are like 2 to 3, maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe, very rarely. Yeah, so I have a lot of time on my hands. I have nothing else to do besides write. And that's what I do. I write a lot and I draw a lot, but mostly I write. And yeah, as far as my approach goes and like building the habit, I started very small. When I was a kid, at least, like the very beginning of my journaling journey, I would write exclusively when I felt like it. I didn't have any kind of like practice I was trying to build. I didn't have any kind of expectations. If you want to approach it that way and you feel like that would work for you, do that. But I do encourage you to try to set times and days where you know you're going to do it, because that will build consistency and build a habit. That part of journaling for me came very much later in life, because I started to realize, oh, I really like journaling. Journaling is really good for me. When I do journal, I feel really good afterwards. I should try to make a habit of it and be consistent with it. So that's what I did. I didn't start with writing every day. I started with writing maybe a couple of days a week. I'm a very emotional person. I have a lot going on in my life, so there's a lot to write about. That might not be the case for you. Maybe you're very stable and have a very happy life, but that's still stuff to write about. You should write about the happy things in your life too. I try to. I think that's really healthy and it's beautiful, and it'll make you feel really awesome to look back on and realize how positive a lot of your life was. And yeah, I even feel that way. I try to document all the positives in my life, even if they're few and far between, and that makes me feel great to look back on those moments and realize that it wasn't all dark and scary and bad. A lot of it, not just some of it, but a lot of it is really beautiful. And more on that is like, again, like I've said this over and over in this video, but don't force yourself to journal. I've never forced myself to journal. Like, have I felt like writing and not been able to? Yes, but like I wanted to write, I just lacked the words. Usually that results in me writing anyways, because I sit down, I start saying random stuff. I write that today I had an apple. It made me feel weird. I didn't like the taste, like that kind of stuff. And it just devolves or evolves into a much more in-depth analysis of my state of being, or like my plans for the day, or what I did the day before that caused this like weird state of mind that I didn't like an apple in. I don't know. That's just a random example that doesn't exist. I promise. And like, my goal for journaling is always to feel good, never to frustrate myself. So if I know talking about a certain thing is going to frustrate me and like make me angry about writing, I'm not going to do that. Like, it's one thing to be writing and get frustrated and angry about your writing because it happened and you are still trying to process it. But like, if you're getting upset about the fact that you're writing, stop. Just stop. Don't ever force yourself to write more than you can or should. Just take it really easy. Take it really slow. Like, this is a really wonderful thing that you're trying to do and want to do, and it should feel good. It should feel really good. I don't think it's going to like feel awesome, amazing all the time, 100% always, but like for very vast majority of it, it should feel like pretty good. I get the most enjoyment out of it when I'm ready to address my feelings, ready to reflect on them, and ready to plan ahead. Like, planning is in like setting a schedule for myself, in the sense that like I have actionable ideas that I'm ready to execute in terms of personal growth or development or relationship stuff. Like, maybe there's a friend I need to confront about something or have a heart-to-heart with about something, and I write down in my journal like an outline of the conversation I want to have with that person. That's a really great use of your journal and your time. And it makes having these conversations feel so much easier and so much more cohesive, because you already know what you want to say and you're not being carried away in the moment by emotions. It's just makes you a lot more fixed in the moment emotionally, which I think is really a strong like personality character to have and build. Yeah, I don't always know what to say in my journal. Like I just previously said, sometimes I just write about random things that don't even make sense. I really generally just start with how I'm feeling, what I did the day before, my plans for the day, current interests and fixations is another big one. I've been writing a lot in my journal about this YouTube channel because I'm really excited about it. It's fun. I've never done this before, and it's really cool to like pull on my own experience with something and try to help other people achieve something similar. That said, like, I don't have any expectations for you to become like a journaling guru. Like, I'm not a journaling guru. I just have some experience with journaling, and like I'm trying to impart my wisdom on you. But like, don't like expect yourself from day one to be like amazing at journaling. Journaling is a practice. You do it every day. You don't have to do it every day, but you do it every day in theory. And you get better over time. You feel better about it over time. You get faster at it over time. Like, journaling when you start is going to be very slow. It's going to take a lot of your time if you're trying to get out a lot of stuff. That's why I think it's really important to just keep it simple. Write lightly, write very basic sentences. Don't try to be poetic. Don't try to be all like super grammatically correct with crazy syntax and dictation. Like, you just need to get words on a page that you can understand. Maybe you don't ever read it again, so does it really matter if you can understand it? Just get the words out of your head onto a paper. I promise you it will eventually, if not instantly, feel pretty good. And yeah, I think I do want to talk a little bit about like the notebook aspect of journaling again. Like, I very briefly went over that in the beginning of this video, but I just want to reiterate that like when you're starting journaling, don't go big. Don't get a big fat journal that is going to scare you, and like there's so much paper in here and you're like, oh my god, I'm never gonna fill this up. You might not, and that's okay though. But like, you can always just start another journal or pick up where you left off. But it's so easy to fill up a like 50-page journal. Like, you can get a smaller journal. You can get like a Fields note or a pocket notebook that are very small, like Field Notes brand or like Rhodia brand, or like what's another good one? I'm not a Moleskine person. They're really expensive and not accessible at all. Rhodia is really affordable. Muji is really affordable. Field Note is really affordable. You could literally just get like a spiral bound college ruled notebook from a grocery store. That's really affordable. Like, you don't have to start with like a grandiose vision or dream of having like a beautiful journal. Does having a beautiful journal help? Sometimes. Like, I'm really driven by aesthetics personally. I like my journals to feel good and look good. But again, like, I'm not wasting a lot of time visually journaling. Like, it's just words. I like the way this cover is. I like the way my grid paper is. I like the feeling of the paper and how to write on it, like the feeling of writing on it, but I'm not overly concerned with these aspects of writing. It's really mostly about the act of writing for me. And like, this was my method for years, just a Muji journal. I really like grid paper because I think I write really small. It's smaller than grid ruled, or like not grid ruled, than like college ruled paper. College ruled paper is like too much space for me. I feel like I'm wasting all my paper. But if you write bigger, if you don't like grid paper, there's so many options. You could literally use blank paper. Don't do as I do just because it's what I'm doing. Like, I'm giving you all these options because I want you to know there's a world out there for you. It is your oyster. You should freaking shuck it and eat it and have a great time doing it. And yeah, I think there's so many kinds of notebooks. You could literally go to a really cool stationery store in whatever city you live in. Go check it out. Go look at something. I just really encourage you, if you're just starting out, just keep it small. Just keep it small. Because it will be easier. You will fill up pages faster. That will be really gratifying. And unless you desperately want big paper or feel like you really believe that you can fill up a big giant notebook like a B5 or an A4, like go for it. I'm not in control of you. But I think A5, perfect size for me. I never write in anything bigger than this unless it's like on my computer. That's the other thing. You don't have to write by hand. You don't have to write on paper with a pen or pencil. You can type it out. If that is what's really accessible for you, really easy for you, feels good for you, do that. Because while I really do reap the benefits of analog writing, not everybody does or will. And it's not super accessible for everybody. Some people have arthritis, some people have carpal tunnel. Like, writing is not great for those things. Typing isn't either necessarily, but like, you could even do voice memos. Like, you don't have to, the purpose is to get the thoughts out of your head and into a different vessel. The vessel can take whatever shape or form you desire it or need it to. Be that paper, a computer screen, a voice memo note in your phone, or on a like tape recorder, whatever. Like, there are so many options, so many ways to realize a journaling practice without doing it the way somebody else is doing it, unless you really think that way will work for you. I personally really believe in the powers of paper and pen. I'm an artist. I'm just like that. I think that there is some kind of, and I have no science to back this up, but I just really think there is a special power in writing by hand, especially if you have the able-bodiedness to do so, and that is something that would be accessible for you. I feel like you should try it. There's just something like literally magical about having a really good pen on really good paper and writing out your thoughts, your feelings, things you've seen, things you've done, things you want to do, things you never did before, your dreams, whatever. Like, literally write anything and just like experience the magic. I think you won't regret it. Unless you do, then I'm sorry.